This is a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on youtube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it. Blast it.
Whatever it is, I can handle it.
You're the one always telling me I need to find my destiny. But one thing's for certain, it's not here in Kansas.
You saved my life.
He's a rather extraordinary young man. Don't you think?
Hello and welcome to Smallville Freaks, a podcast 15 years too late. I'm Mike Pelly.
And I'm Jason Lamb.
And today we're discussing episode 16 of season 1 called Stray. And there's no stray dogs or anything, it's a stray young boy.
It's heartwarming. It's a heartwarming episode.
It is. We got Martha Kent just doing her thing, crashing into people on the road, finding aliens and farms and shit like that. So she's pretty much rocking a full-on Martha Kent right now in this episode.
Yeah. Funny how Martha Kent happens to hit the kid with superpowers. She's like a superpower
exactly my
kid
point.
magnet.
Exactly my point. Smallville is indeed small.
He wasn't even a meteor freak, though, right?
No, and that's the other thing. It never goes in. Like, I think, was it the last episode where people had powers and it was never explained why it wasn't a kryptonite thing? I don't know. It was a couple episodes ago or something, but this is the same thing where this kid Ryan has these abilities, or this ability to see the future. It's kind of unclear exactly. Like, he knows what people are thinking, but like he can also see the future.
Right.
And we're given no context. He's just a human boy with these powers.
I think he comes back later, right? Like, do we learn where he comes from or anything like that?
We might. That seems like something they would do.
I feel like in a later season, though, he returns.
So this was mostly that this kid, his father or stepfather is making him help them do thievery and a life of crime with his stepfather's wife or whatever. Both of which are fucking evil people. Like,
yeah, they're
I'm
terrible.
watching this thing and it's like,
well, I
dark.
love the actor whose name I can't remember now who plays the dad, because it just like is like really thick Canadian accent, and around these parts, that's funny. Sorry to any Canadian listeners, but when you say things like comics, when you say comic books, I can't get past it.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
But so that's what is up with. So basically, there's a lot of character stuff in this episode because it has a lot to do with family, and it kind of hints. It's like at one point, Jonathan and Martha are talking about like actually adopting this kid, and like because they really like seeing Clark with like a younger brother figure.
Well, it made me wonder if Clark ever had a stepbrother storyline, like an alternate universe where the Kents could have a natural born child, and like what it would be like sort of growing up in the shadow of Superman. It's just like I can see that being a really interesting story.
That could be, yeah, but actually, because it is said at the beginning of the season that they can't have kids, and that's why they adopted Clark. But if there was some sort of like kryptonite healing thing that they could do to actually have a kid or get pregnant. Doesn't she get pregnant at some point in the future? I feel like she does. There's like 10 seasons of this shit.
Does she?
I kind of remember her at some point getting pregnant and then losing the baby. that actually does straight up happen. That has like in season 3.
We have to look this up. I don't remember it, but man, that sounds familiar. And this is definitely a show where Martha would have a baby.
Yes, yeah, and that's maybe why I'm thinking about kryptonite being like something that would allow that to happen, just because it like gives people powers and shit. Why not let her have a kid?
In this one, Martha shows up out of nowhere when she hits the kid.
Absolutely out of nowhere. Always Martha or Jonathan to the rescue is what I always say.
Yeah.
I don't always say that, but yeah. This kid Ryan, he is I kind of felt bad for him like for most of the episode cuz he's either being chased, he's either being lied to when he's clearly telling somebody, "No, you feel this way." And they're like, "No, I don't. Fuck off. Don't stop making lies up about people." And then just like getting thrown in garbage canisters and like tossed into garbage trucks.
I think
I'm just like, this kid.
if I could hear it when people lied to me, like you would feel so terrible, but like wouldn't you just feel compelled to correct every single person that lied to you? It's like, don't fucking lie to me. No, really.
Everybody's going to get defensive if you did that to anyone. And even though you know you're right, at a certain point you'll probably learn to not do that anymore cuz you'll probably end up alone.
Ouch, Jesus. All right.
You like my therapy sessions with Mike Pelly. So there's not much else. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with Lex
comes into his den or whatever to find his father, Lionel, in a sexy pose juggling some Benoit balls. He's like spinning them in his hands like and he's like, "Shouldn't you be packing?"
Shouldn't you have
But it's so Lionel.
No, it is.
And he's such like a little baby too. Like he couldn't handle the defeat. He had to be there to make sure that Lex was going with him.
He's like waiting for the answer from Lex, and then he grabs one of his gloves and he dangles it in front of Lex's head. And he's just like, "Are you going to leave me dangling, Lex?"
Oh yeah, he dangles it over his face from behind, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Like as if it was like a carrot or a donkey or something.
Yeah,
Dangling?
Absolutely ridiculous. But I love me some Lionel. His hair was looking especially coiffed today.
Yeah.
Well, let's move right on to the drama segment.
Trust me, you don't want to know me the way you think you do.
Clark, that's my decision to make.
This is a key note here. Ryan, since he knows how people are feeling or something, I don't know what his fucking powers are, but he's with Chloe and Clark, and knows like immediately that Chloe's into Clark, and he conveys that to Clark.
Right, because she's a teenager, and it's like all she's thinking about, just like he's always thinking about Lana.
Exactly, and Clark is just like, Chloe? Really? Chloe? Even though in an episode prior, he sort of acknowledged that they were like flirting at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And like Clark tells Chloe this, and he's just like, "Oh my God, Ryan says that you're like, you want to go to the prom with me, and that, you picked out a pink dress and shit." And she's like, and it's just like, she totally could have been like, "Oh yeah, that's absurd," but no, I guess she kind of was down like with him knowing, like she didn't try to like get out of it or something.
Yeah, no, but she's like also just want to straight up say it, and he just like is in denial that it's even a thing. Oh, Chloe's just my friend.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of out in the open now. Clark now knows for certain that at least Chloe wanted to go to the dance with Clark.
Yeah.
And that's
always the awkward thing when you know that your friend likes you, but you don't like them back.
Right, but it's still
And
not
vice versa.
like, because there's a moment in this later where they're hanging out and they like wink at each other. They have a moment where they actually flirt.
They got to keep the audience guessing.
You got to keep the audience guessing, and surely I did when this was on the air the first time. I thought that was gonna like work out because I already didn't like Lana at this point.
Mm-hmm.
16 episodes into Smallville, I was pretty sure that I could care less about Lana because she's a terrible girlfriend. We know how terrible of a and we just know all about her now. Like, she talks about her parents every day. And
did it ever get resolved? And I think I asked this last episode, when she breaks up with Whitney, when she's basically having her Red K moment.
Yeah,
she's like, fine, then we're broken up.
As far as we know, I think Whitney's dad's still sick or some shit.
Okay.
And like dealing with that. All right, well, let's get into the drinking game.
The party can officially begin. The Luthors are here.
Boom. So this one is real heavy on the family. You know, you've got the step kid and you've got the Luthor play, as I like to call it. If you want to get trashed, just on son and father alone, there are 12.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 6 sons and 6 fathers. I think maybe even 7 fathers. And somebody says abilities once. And is Just Friends on there? I don't have that list.
Just Friends is on the list.
Oh, and the hospital. Shoot,
sure.
I forgot.
There's a few of that, you know, when you're going back and forth, and that was mostly just because like Martha hit him with a car. Or did she hit him with a car, or was he just laying in the street? Ryan.
I think no. She hit him with the car. Like she hit him hard enough that it knocked off his shoe, because that's one of the first things he says. But he was fine somehow.
My shoe.
It's like, oh, you hitting him with a car, nowhere near as bad as what his parents did to him.
And is that about it? No glass.
No glass. This is one of the only episodes where no glass shatters.
Time.
But anyway,
First time so far.
So we've got son and father. We've got a couple of hospital scenes. We have abilities once. We do have Just Friends once. Let's see, what are we at? Like 17, something like that.
That sounds right. That's definitely watch this episode with a glass of wine, maybe.
Yeah, you know, sip. Yeah. Maybe like a nice dessert wine. You might have just eaten dinner after watching the episode.
This is a good post-dinner episode.
You know, with your family, because that's what this episode's about.
Absolutely. It's about brotherly love. It's about what's missing in your life, and it's about dessert wine. Let's move on to the Geek Lore segment, which I'm excited about because there's going to be a lot to talk about here. Woo!
All right.
This is Smallville. Meteor freaks, alien ships, cryptic symbols. Someone has to protect the world.
What do you have on this one? Because I really didn't get that much other than, like the Warrior Angel is obviously Superman.
I'll talk about all my kind of simple Superman stuff that happened in the episode, and then I'll let you dive into the whole Warrior Angel comics, because that's pretty solid in the lore of things, all things Superman.
Yeah.
First thing I'd like to start with is there are 2 instances where Clark saves Ryan, and they do it in a very Superman-esque way, where the lighting behind Clark is like shining, and he's smiling and reaching his hand out to Ryan.
Oh yeah,
and that's very reminiscent of a hero that is on his way to becoming super.
Yeah, we've seen that shot a lot in the comics, especially.
Yeah.
Let alone like almost every version we've gotten on film.
And
that's a really good moment. Too bad it's like wasted on this dork. This
well, Clark's got to
dork.
learn somewhere. He's got to practice that amazing rescue pose on someone.
Right.
The other thing is we see Clark's spaceship in the cellar for the first time in the series.
Really? I was wondering when that was coming up, because I was like, is this the first time? Yeah.
It's the first time, because we actually made a note about it before, how we hadn't seen it yet. We mentioned the first time it was mentioned. It was mentioned
like that thing in the cellar or whatever that Jonathan was saying, right?
Exactly. And we're like, oh, wait, shit, we haven't seen that yet. Well, here it is. And it's interesting the way they do it, because Clark goes in and, you know, he's looking for Ryan, but they don't really concentrate on the spaceship that much. They show that it's there, but like Clark's kind of looking around it and looking for Ryan. And I thought that was interesting, that it wasn't this big showcased scene where it's just like, oh, there's the spaceship that he arrived on. It was just a fucking just like spaceship in a cellar. It was very. I guess
like
my point is, it was
nonchalant. Maybe like they wanted to do something cooler, but they didn't have the budget, so they're like, "Fuck it, let's just do this."
Let's just do this. Yeah.
We'll just put a little God ray on it, you know, coming through the cracks in the barn.
A little glimmer, because they know that's gonna play heavily in the show to come. And the other thing was, well, Ryan actually says to Clark that he knows that got to watch out for Lex, because Lex, he's not going to turn out to be such a good guy after all. Somewhat like that. I don't know what he said verbatim, but it was like a hint that Lex will be your enemy.
Right, but Ryan doesn't also the way that he did with that that waitress. He wasn't like straight up like don't be his friend anymore. He was just like watch out. So he was like maybe that he saw something that was still a little bit good in there.
It's possible.
Just kind of like watch your back though, in case this one turns.
And lastly, we got a little bit of that "Five for Fighting" Superman song at the end, which was a definite like early 2000s like
Digging
song.
for kryptonite on this one-way street.
So in honor of that song and in honor of Superman, let's see what exactly they're talking about in this goddamn stupid song.
Okay.
It's literally just, and this makes perfect sense with Smallville because it's basically an emo Superman song. From Superman's point of view, he is saying this shit, and he is whining, and he is complaining, and he's being a big baby.
Yeah.
And that's perfect for the show.
That's Clark in a nutshell.
So
The Smallville Clark.
it goes, I can't stand to fly. I'm not that naive. I'm just out to find the better part of me. I'm more than a bird. I'm more than a plane. I'm more than some pretty face beside a train. And it's not easy being me, okay?
Oh my god. This was this written for the show?
No,
Like,
dude. This is like
just like-
this was a mainstream song. And like this band Five for Fighting, I don't know if they're still together or not, but this was definitely their only big hit.
I can't tell if he was like legit fan or if he's like making fun of it or something.
I don't
He's
know.
just like, what if I wrote a song about a whiny Superman? That sounds really deep, doesn't it? Yeah.
I wish that I could cry, fall upon my knees, find a way to lie about a home I'll never see.
Wow.
It may sound absurd, but don't be naive. Even heroes have the right to bleed.
That's so deep. I can't handle it.
I may be disturbed, but won't you concede? Even heroes have the right to dream, and it's not easy to be me. Up, and away from me. Well, it's all right. You can sleep sound tonight. I'm not crazy or anything. I can't stand to fly. I'm not that naive. Men weren't meant to ride with clouds between their knees.
Hopefully you have more than clouds between your knees. I don't know.
So there was these comic books in the episode called Warrior Angel comic books, and those are going to play heavily in the episodes to come because Lex talks a lot about them. We all know he's obsessed with it. It's the worst artwork I've ever seen because they whipped it up for this fucking low budget show.
Yeah, totally. But
it's
that's
terrible.
the thing is like you could have paid any like working artist in the industry to do something good, or maybe they did and we're just like being really insulting. But also, if you're that artist, like, how much are you going to put in, like, fucking Warrior Angel for Smallville? Like, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not going to give your A game, no matter how much they pay you.
Did you pull up anything on it?
No, I didn't.
Well, it's basically the Superman story.
Yeah.
Like, the whole idea of it.
Well, it comes back later in the show, and he talks, like, Lex starts referencing it as him being, like, the Warrior Angel kind of shit. And then they talks about, like, the supervillain that he has, right?
Yeah.
Later as well.
This is definitely the first mention of that, and you know, as you say, it will come into play in other episodes. All right, well, you want to move on to the crew spotlight?
Crew spotlight.
I'm to help create the look of the show, to tell the story visually.
We have Paul Shapiro. Interestingly enough, he also directed episodes of Flash Gordon, the one that Whitney, the actor who plays Whitney, ends up starring in, the sci-fi series from 2008.
Okay.
Which I assume everybody, again, is from Canada. So this guy's done Roswell and Dark Angel, X-Files. He did Millennium, which is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Mm.
And can we talk about the highlight on this list here? I mean, besides Mom P.I.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still can't get over that name.
Mom P.I.
Okay. But the episode, he directed an episode of RoboCop the TV series.
Shit.
Way to go, man. Because that show was awful. It was also bonkers, like everything else was in the 90s.
All of it was bad.
Yeah, but it was like this like neon lit, like scummy but still PG rated,
Yeah.
ultra violence story with RoboCop. I used to have the action figures, not from the movie but from the show. I remember,
Whoa.
and you could like remove the helmet and stuff like that, and like look at Murphy's face underneath and shit. It was weird. And there's also
That's
a bad cartoon show. Anyway, I'm not even talking about Paul Shapiro anymore. But this guy has directed some of my favorite episodes of television, but again, especially Millennium. Will always have a soft spot in my heart for Lance Henriksen. But yeah, that's it.
That's a good run that guy had. Is he still working?
He's
Still doing anything?
He hasn't done a whole lot. He's done like producer and writer and stuff like that. I don't know if he's still working. Oh, he also recently did Continuum, which is an awesome Canadian sci-fi like time travel show.
Yeah.
I wrapped that up a couple years ago. It was really good. Anyway, director Paul Shapiro.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Rocking out a Smallville episode, rocking out some Five for Fighting. That wasn't his choice. That was not his choice.
No.
I will only direct it if it has Five for Fighting in it.
I love this song. How
love
could
it.
you not want to direct while this song
I love
is
this
playing?
song. I love this song, eh?
I was playing it every day.
That
Every
was
day.
awful. Did you just hear that? Did you just hear what I just did? It was really good.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I think I missed it. Do you want to try again?
No, because it was that bad. Thanks for listening to Smallville Freaks. We are in dire need, an absolute dire need of iTunes in the comments. People can't find us right now because we're trying to get up on that search bar. So it's helpful if you pop over there, rate us, talk shit on us. Jason, where can people find you on the internet?
Instagram, JTL_hell.
You can find me, Mike with a Y, on all social media platforms. Thanks for listening to us. Join us next time. Peace out.
Boosh.
This has been a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on YouTube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it. Blast it. Fuck it.